and welcome back to GSA, the Triple Bingo Tournament. We have some more round two action coming your way. And joining me on commentary for this match is Timpani. What's up, Timpani?
Hey, Old Angels.
Hey. I'm really excited for this one. I think, I'm excited for all bingo, to be honest. I think we're getting into the thick of this tournament here now. This match being between Limcube and Zinpars, which we have on voice chat right now. We'll start with you, Limcube. So how much preparation have you put into this bingo tournament so far?
All right. So I've been starting to look into bingo more. Basically, whenever this tournament was announced, I did play back in the day, and this is like 3 months back or something. That was when the board was a bit different and goals were different as well. But after that, I've probably been doing around maybe like, I don't know, like 10 bingos or something. I've been doing a bunch of them on stream. Actually, Zinpars taught me a lot about how he approaches routing. I feel semi-confident also about my movement recently. The one thing I'm kind of scared about when it comes to bingo is these tricky goals. And when I'm saying tricky goals, I'm talking about goals like a certain amount of like nodes moons or a certain amount of 2D moons, basically hidden moons that want you to, that basically require you to go to, let's say, seaside or snow without them specifically saying.
Yes.
So that might like get me off track, and I would be like, oh, I can actually finish in Lost. And then I realize, okay, I would actually need to go to seaside to get the specific goal done. That's what I'm scared about. The rest, I think I'm decently fine with.
Yeah, just really having a very, very deep understanding of those very little nuanced things about bingo, definitely worth. And sometimes I've found myself in a situation where you don't learn those until it's already too late. So maybe we'll see something like that on this board. We can never really tell. But your opponent today is Zinpars. How's it going?
Hello. I'm excited to play bingo.
Yes, I imagine you always are. Zinpars, of course, one of the greats in bingo, I would say. Definitely has proven himself as one of the better bingo players. So how do you feel about this match upcoming? Is there anything you're nervous about?
I am just a bit nervous because like it's a tournament match, so
of course.
Yeah. But I think if I get good routing and not too many mistakes, then I can win. So
excellent.
I agree.
Yeah, I hope I can win.
I think that's the defining moment of bingo, is just like, you can be good at routing, you can be good at movement, but just having to put those together in the moment, of course, can be a little bit of a challenge. So
I'm also a bit nervous because like in bingo, anything could happen. Like maybe if I don't see a good route, and then Limcube will easily win or something like that.
That's true.
So
yeah.
I'm always worried in bingo.
Fair enough. All right, fellows. I think we're just about ready to set up here. Whenever you guys are ready, you can leave the call, queue up the starting screen, and we'll get ourselves started. Thanks for the interviews.
Sure thing. Good luck, both of you.
Thank you.
Thanks, babes. Ooh.
Well, Timp, do you have any predictions?
Predictions? I mean, I was knocked out of the last bingo tourney I was in 2 Zinpars. Which honestly I got further in than I expected to. But I know Zinpars pretty much lives and breathes bingo.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm expecting, well, no matter what happens, I'm expecting a good game from him. I mean, Lim, we actually did some practice, quote unquote, routing practice. He showed me a few cards. Well, he did a few cards, and then he showed me what he did, and I just kind of gauged what I would have done. So
right, kind of just bouncing off each other to learn.
Yeah, I do know that he actually fell into the 6 notes trap earlier, so I'm hoping he put a sticky note on his screen to remember that 6 moons from music notes means it's definite seaside.
Right, and there are a couple of other kind of hidden ones like that as well. It just kind of comes down to knowing certain information. Like one I fell into recently was timer challenges. In fact, in my own bingo match for round 1, timer challenges was one that I was not expecting, because a lot of the timer challenges are locked behind world peace. That's something I didn't really know until it was too late, but managed to pull out the win anyway. But yeah, just those kind of little nuanced things knowing where everything is really important, and you can kind of line yourself up in a way and have an insight into what you're going to do, but it's just not always entirely clear when your endpoint is going to be if you don't know absolutely everything. So
Right.
these guys are on their way.
Standard cap. I mean, this is where you want to be looking at the board, and basically this is your free time essentially, or the closest you're going to get to free time. Because typically, I think you want to have your route mostly decided, if not completely decided, after Brood and Cascade.
Indeed, yep. Because that's when things start to actually happen. That's when you can basically the game opens up, and it's available to you to actually collect moons and things like that. So, we've got a good look at the board here.
All right, let's see. World Peace Sand right in the middle.
Yeah, that's. I mean, Wooded World Peace I think is probably the fastest one, but if you can combo the Sand World Peace with a couple of other moon golds, then it's not usually so bad. But I'm not seeing any of those on this board, so that could be problematic. Also, you got things like 5 ground pound moons and Seaside in the corner, so that's going to eliminate a couple of lines if you're looking for an early finish. Oh, somebody going to town on the goals, apparently just leaving Cap and clearing an entire line. I think he just accidentally pressed the wrong button there, but...
Might be a bit nervous.
Yes, it's possible.
Or maybe it's a mind game.
Trying to psych him out a little bit. So what are you seeing on here, Timp? Anything popping out at you?
I'm noticing one of the new goals since I played Bingo is just 9 story moons excluding multi moons.
Right.
And I'm just trying to think, because it's been a while since I played Bingo. I have watched it recently, but I haven't played it, and some of them are just kind of scary, like that one.
9 story moons is one of those ones that, if you don't really know where the story moons are, you're probably going to end up going to a later kingdom for sure.
I mean, I would assume this is one right now. Our first power moon.
Yes, this is, as well as things like the story moons along the way in Sand that we usually skip via the clip. So maybe World Peace in Sand is not such a bad idea if you're going for 9 story moons.
Yeah, you could get highest tower for... Well, it would be a lot faster.
Yes.
You go it in Night Sand.
That's right, and that's
seems like
kind of an interesting tidbit of information there that many people probably don't even think about, is that if you go and do Harriet first, you actually eliminate the cutscenes from the other things. That same thing happens in Snow, actually, is if you were to beat the Bound Bull and then return, obviously not a very good idea for Bingo, but you return to those story moons later, that eliminates the cutscene and actually makes them faster, which is a strategy we use in Darker Side.
I'm just trying to... 9 seems like an awful lot. I'm not sure if it's the extreme end of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that might be the largest story moon goal that we have.
I do quite like column 4, except for Captain. But I've heard that recently Snow and Seaside are more balanced, quote unquote.
Yeah, you can definitely have some low 50. I've even seen a sub 50 time go to Seaside or Snow before. And I think it just comes with eliminating some other really lengthy goals.
I was gonna say, aside from Captain Toad, that's not a bad ball. 14 in Cascade isn't that bad. If you know where they are. And Shiny Rocks is pretty well, you can get both of those in Wooded, especially if you combo it with row 5, you've got 4 moons in Deep Woods.
It's kind of what I was thinking as well. And 40 regionals in Sand means that you can start working towards that 175 regional coins. You're going to be spending some time in Cascade anyway, getting those 14 moons. So just, those kinds of things.
So
and
I kind of like that combo.
I kind of like maybe doing those two together. So you've got row 5, column 4, and then maybe top left, bottom right, because then getting some regional coins in the lake, you're getting another very easy lake goal, as well as spending some time in Sand, which you're going to end up doing anyway. You can get World Peace, you can get a couple of purple coins along the way there, and that probably wouldn't be too bad since you're spending some time in Sand anyway. And then you can basically minimize the rest of the route to any percent plus coin collecting.
Yeah, I think that was my favorite goals in bingo are purple heavy boards.
Yeah.
I love purple coins. Just because it comes if you know where they are so fast.
They're extremely fast, and they combo into a lot of like the purchasing goals too. Like you can see in column 4, we have 5 stickers as well. So if you're collecting lots of regional coins in different kingdoms, then that's a really easy goal to knock out because usually stickers are extremely cheap. So.
Oh, there's the dino head through the wall.
The infamous dino bounce. Yeah, this happened to me in my AUM actually. Sometimes the dino doesn't like to get up there, but he's made it.
Worth mentioning, since Zinpars is already in sand, it seems like he's not opting for that route. At least nothing involving 14 moons in Cascade, unless he intends to return for a shiny rock, because there is a very fast shiny rock in Cascade if you come back. But I don't know.
That is true.
Would be what he opted for.
There are definitely some options on this board that would eliminate a seaside or snow exit.
Mind you, he could go back to Cascade and get 1 moon from Hintop with Lake. That's also a possibility.
That is true.
So there is potential for a Cascade revisit on this board, or at least somewhat.
Typically, if I see those hint art ones, I typically just go the wooded first route, so that you can just revisit sand through the warp painting. It does look like we have Zinpars collecting some regional coins in sand. Can be seeing that square perhaps being marked off in the future here. And Limcube making it rather well known that he is going to be collecting the moons in Cascade, so definitely looking at those kinds of ideas here.
So it's like Lim picking up some purples, so it's probably a safe, because there is no purple coins in Cascade specifically, so it's probably a safe that he's working on a regional goal. And I think there is only the one regional overall goal on this
There
board.
is. Yeah, just the 175, which is not terrible, really, especially when you combo it with a couple of the other regional goals.
No, I was gonna say, I think that it used to actually be less. There used to be smaller regional goals, but they were too good.
Yeah, fair enough.
Nerfed, essentially.
I could see that being the case.
And we did see him not to assume that he maybe he changed his mind, but based on the ones he picked, we could probably gauge a route from that. Like, that he marked accidentally, I should say.
Oh, right, yes.
I've never seen that before, and I'm starting to realize why. I was
Limcube taking a bit of a dive there. You're definitely going for a little bit of a fast strategy there, but not quite safe enough.
So I noticed since Zinpars is on the Jax, he probably is going to get those sands, I would assume. Or he's just, I mean, he could just be using it for fast travel, but typically if I'm playing bingo, I'll probably only get the Jaxi for stands. Saying that, he didn't actually initiate there. So
Yeah, it does look like he's just using it for fast travel, which is not such a bad idea. I typically do the same thing, especially if I'm doing something like sub-areas in sand. Just
Right.
because getting up to that top corner of the screen tends to be, it's an easy strategy if you just use Jaxi, and then you can warp there in the future.
Unless he's already mapped out the optimal stands.
Yes, maybe he's skipping some on purpose.
But I don't think so. I don't think so after that one as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
One thing to
Also-
know, I was going to say, I don't think he marked anything despite leaving Cascade.
Perhaps he is going to be coming back for that hint art one? No, but that counts as a lake moon, doesn't it?
Yeah, the rock. maybe.
Yes, potentially. Yeah, there are definitely some good options here. I also didn't notice the 95 moons total goal
Yeah,
that's on the board there.
I saw that one. I wasn't sure. I mean, with Cascade maybe, and a couple extras along the way.
Yeah.
Really depends on where you want to go. I mean, there are. I just noticed 32 moons in sand, so really
Oh, yeah.
good if you wanted to.
Spend a lot of time in sand. But it doesn't really synergize with anything except for that moon goal, that total.
Yeah, because I'm looking at column 2 and I'm just seeing. I mean, like if he hasn't, as Zinpars has been particular, he hasn't, as we said, he isn't. I can't speak. as I was saying with Zinpars, he's already passed stands, so I guess column 2 would probably not be the go-to play.
Yes, that's right. It doesn't look like he's gathering Jaxie stands.
He is gathering purples, which I mean could be just for sand, but also could be the overall goal.
Yeah.
And I mean another thing with purples is you can actually buy stickers, which is on the board here.
That is true, and he is going a little bit overkill with the purple coins if all he's doing is buying a sticker, but he is almost at his regional goal for the kingdom, and it looks like he's already used 10 regional coins to buy something. So I think that might be a sticker. And if that is the case, then he is probably going to be going for that column 4 idea, maybe making a return visit to Cascade later, using the idea that you were saying with the hint arts.
I would really like to see it. I like weird stuff like that.
And yeah, just like those kinds of ideas are not very like natural. They don't come about naturally. Like when there's a goal on a board that I'm not entirely comfortable with, it's kind of my first instinct to just get it out of the way as fast as possible. So having this idea of like returning to a kingdom later on because it's faster just doesn't seem like a natural thing to do.
Maybe keep having a bit of a getting scared in the 2D section.
Just hitting up all those blocks.
Definitely not the purples I would recommend if you're only going for 40. However, it does seem like he's going for 175. Even then, that's not that much. I'd feel like you could probably get you could probably easily reach that amount only going for the fast ones.
I would agree, yeah.
Especially, I mean, Lost is very fast for purples.
Lost is very fast.
Yeah,
doesn't look like there's any cap revisits on this board, but Cascade's also really quick.
Personal opinion, happy about that. Do not like cap. I really don't like the cap revisit stuff.
If I find that I like to go to cap for things like if that all regional coins in 2 kingdoms pops up and there's something else happening in cap, I'll usually just use cap as one of my all regional coins options, just because it's pretty fast. You can get all the regional coins in like under 4 minutes.
I like Cascade for that.
Yeah, and Lake is not a bad one, and Lost is not a bad one either.
Well, I say Cascade. Only Cascade if I need the sub-area moves, because those 4 purples in the 2D room are very slow.
Yes, indeed, that's true.
So only in that instance, because with there is a jump you can do in that room to make it a lot faster.
Yes, and it skips kind of that first section of the 2D maze. Well, not really a maze, but the section anyway. But, of course, missing it is really risky, so...
Simultaneous note moons right now.
Yes, and we're in 2 different kingdoms. We see Zinpars as the first one to mark something off the board there with those 40 regional coins. It'll be interesting to see what he's going for, because he's not going for the traditional lake routing here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zin has played enough bingo, I feel like, to have a route if he needs to get 15 purples. And he's probably going to get the Note Moon in the wall, which has 4 purples as well.
Right.
As I assume, since he's heading there now. Just based on the fact because the Note Moon at near the Odyssey is not that fast if you don't. I mean, it's not too slow, but you wouldn't really opt for it unless you wanted Note Moon specifically, I feel like.
Yes, and there is a goal for that on the board I am seeing, so very possible that he's going for something like that.
And obviously grabbing the purples here because very quick since he's already here.
Yes, and if he's going for column 4, it might also be possible to go for column 5. That would make a Cascade visit viable because he's going for the hint art. He would be going for the shiny rocks. And then it would be just kind of interesting to see what his last choice would be. It's obviously not going to be anything with sand. It looks like he's out of there already. So we could see something like row 2. And it looks like Limcube is going to be calling Jaxi from some stands here, so that looks like it's on the table as well. And we see Limcube doing the inverted pyramid clip as well, so maybe going for some world peace ideas in sand. Be interesting to see if he goes through with that and maybe spending some extra time in sand.
Well, he is not having a good time in that room.
No, just about death there, actually. Just have to be very careful with these Goombas.
Didn't opt to get the heal from inverted mural. Oh, and scaring me. So he did look at the late. Zinpars did look at the late in art, which definitely leads me to believe he's going back to Cascade at this point.
Yes.
And I'm happy.
Yeah, it's a kind of neat little strategy, and again, something you probably wouldn't think of doing if you were like maybe unfamiliar with the whole game of bingo.
I would imagine he would probably want to do that last, maybe, because he probably doesn't want to do because you could avoid the extra moon dump.
Yes, that is true.
It just seems like a quick way to wrap it up. 2 moons in art, and unless he plans to do the entire 14 moons in Cascade, but I don't.
It'll be interesting to see. There is potential for that as well. I mean, if he's going to be ending in Seaside, then either one would really work to eliminate a moon dump, I think. But yeah, we have Limcube here finishing up Harriet. It's the first multi-moon in sand. And we'll see if he goes all the way through with World Peace. It does look like he's making an effort to collect regional coins along the way. So we'll probably see him mark that one off as well.
Zinpars getting the nut clip. He's going for the full 90% movement actually.
Oh wow. Doing just a fine job of it. Not necessarily an easy portion of the 90% route, but making it look easy, throwing it in a bingo, which is always a very exciting thing to see.
My favorite thing that to have happen is doing a spin pound, but just not going anywhere.
Yes. Just like a dropped input or whatever there.
It does look like... Oh, he's calling a Jaxi stand at night. I quite like it. Though I'm surprised he didn't ride Jaxi from Jaxi Ruins.
Yeah, a bit of a weird choice. But he's got the 3 stands now. He's also got his 40 regional coins marked. It's still too early to say what the routing is going to look like, though.
This is an interesting one. I think that kind of highlights maybe some unfamiliar movement there. Being so used to getting the... Oh.
Oof, taking a fall there, unfortunately.
I was going to say, being so used to getting the Goomba Moon, still going all the way around.
Yeah, I definitely catch myself doing that as well. I think maybe Limcube, yeah, that unfamiliarity playing in, he could definitely have routed himself in a way that would allow for him to get the Goomba Moon anyway, but I think he's just looking to leave sand with the least possible moon count here, which makes it very likely that he's not going to be going for any 95 moons total, just because he's not going out of the way for any extras.
I've noticed you doing this as well, actually, lately, getting into the arena of ground pounding.
Yeah, and I'm not actually sure if it's any faster. It just, like, we would have to time it, I think. But the idea there is that just your falling speed is a little bit quicker. I've noticed some people, like, before the bullet bill gets to the edge of the platform, you take a dive. But diving is actually the slowest falling speed. So it'd be interesting to see, with a little bit of timing, which one is actually the fastest idea there. I like that movement from Zinpars just now, hopping over the arena to that crumbling platform to get those purples, being sure not to fall into the deep woods or anything.
One thing about those crumbling blocks, you can take the purples on the crumbling blocks. You can jump up to fire in the cave, which is a little sealed off gate area with a fire bro, and it is probably the scariest jump in.
Yeah, you're not a big fan of that one, are you?
No, because it's one of those jumps that is very I very commonly find myself diving the wrong way and falling into deep woods for no reason. It's not fun.
Yeah, nobody likes to see that happen. Speaking of deep woods, though, Zinpar's there right now. He's going to be looking to get some quick moons here. Probably going to be knocking off that 4 moons in the deep woods. Potentially going for some shiny rocks.
Surprised he's opting for that.
Yeah, that's probably one of the slower ones in the deep woods.
Especially if he's planning to capture the dino.
Maybe he just knows that the dino will be right outside for him when he comes out of there, and that's his mentality. Oh my goodness, Schultzar. Coming in with the 10,000 bid drop just now. Schultzar is an incredible supporter of the channel, showing it again here. Thank you for your support, dude. Much appreciated.
Oh, am I back?
Alright, we're starting to see some things being knocked off the board here. Zinpars has the 2 moons from Shiny Rocks as well as the 4 Deep Woods moons knocked off the board. And he's just going to be grabbing this last moon with the timer challenge in order to... I think he's probably going to leave wooded now.
Apologies, I was unable to... I had to do something. But yeah, I mean, I would imagine since I feel like from the very start, maybe 5 timers was in the mix of, like, if you had to do Deep Woods moons, I don't know. It just seems like a good synergy. I don't know if he's going to actually take advantage of it with like column 1, but maybe not, because 8 costume sets is not fun.
It's a bit hefty. He's also been to a couple purple shops already and not bought any costumes, which kind of signals to me that he might not be going for that.
Yeah, I have gone for that once in a bingo. I did win the bingo, but it was not the best idea.
Yes. And not only are you looking to be getting lots of purple coins in like a bunch of different kingdoms, but you're also looking to be just getting regular coins, because that's about the only way that you can actually do that goal is if you buy some of the coin costumes as well. It's a bit of a rough one for sure. As well, that route would lead you to snow, so if you've already got some seaside things lined up, that's probably not the greatest idea. We see Limcube and Zinpars both buying stickers. I think that they do both notice that column 4 is a pretty good idea there. Maybe even going for like the bottom left, top right diagonal.
I am surprised actually. If Lim. Oh no, he is still in Lake, so he could. I was gonna say, I feel if Lim has already done War Peace Sand, it would probably be like we mentioned earlier. TLBR, top left bottom right, would be a good one. Since he's already done War Peace Sand, that's like the only real hefty one there. He did get a lot of moves before leaving Cascade, so I would probably wager he's going back and finishing that.
Yeah. He might be doing the cross. He might be doing top left, bottom right, and top right, bottom left. And then comboing it maybe with column 4, we could see potentially.
But he did just buy a sticker, so it makes sense, yeah. Since he's already got 1 tile invested in column 4. And I mean, he's obviously going to get the fighter stickers from the top right, bottom left.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, still a little too early to tell exactly what's going to happen here.
I just hope they both have a good time.
Yeah, I hope we're all just having fun. Zinpars moving on to Lost now. I don't think there's anything Lost specific going on this board, but like we mentioned before, purple coins are relatively quick in this kingdom. So probably going to be looking to buff up his 175 regional coins goal in Lost. Ooh, taking a bonk there. That's probably my least favorite thing about this kingdom is taking a bonk after the meme tree jump.
Yeah, I have not actually bonked there in quite a while, but it does happen. And when it does...
Yeah, when it does, your run is typically over. Of course, this being bingo, doesn't really matter, but
I think with that jump, more often I bonk on the leaf because I jump off I do a triple jump and then a cap bounce onto the leaf, and sometimes if I'm a little low, I'll just bonk on it and fall into the swamp.
Ah, yes,
and that feels pretty bad. Lim is definitely
he is, yes. He did look at that hint art, and he's getting the moon from it. And it looks like he's going to be bulking up his Cascade moon count a little bit as well.
I'm not sure how many moons he actually had before leaving.
Yes, I'm not entirely sure either.
He's going to get the sticker. Oh, he has actually already marked 14 moons.
Yes, so potentially he's buying the one from the shop, and that would be all he needs, or maybe he's got them all already.
I'm actually very surprised that I did not see him actually get the shiny. He didn't get the shiny, he just got rubble. That seems like... I feel like that might be a misplay. If he's got this investment in column 4.
You're looking at the shiny rocks?
Yes, because he could have very easily gotten his 14th in the form of that rock.
That is true. But he is going to be having to go into the deep woods anyway, by the looks of it.
That's true. Yeah, that is true, actually. Yeah, okay. Maybe not misplay then, yeah.
Zinpars taking a dive into the poison again. Lost is not his friend at the moment.
He's ahead of me, which is good, because he is the one competing.
Yes. He's got the play. He understands what's going on there, Limcube. Zinpar's buying one more sticker. Maybe the death warp was actually intentional. Kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, in Lost, typically death warping is not a bad option, because warping via death is actually slightly faster than just warping.
Yeah, the more you know, I suppose. That's I suppose that's why in Darker Side we do that intentionally.
It really depends on how close you are to being able to die,
Right.
and at the given time. I think it's very, very slight. Maybe not super slight. It's not that big of a difference. It's just because after you warp, you have to watch the whole animation of the cap swinging on the pole,
Right.
and then Mario popping out of it.
It does make sense. All right, Zinpar's taking a very quick visit into Lost there, just grabbing some purple coins and more or less doing any percent and then leaving. Limcube we see in the deep woods now, fighting with the dino a little bit.
This is how I used to get the dino to bonk, and it is definitely not the best way.
No, I'm a big fan of throwing one of the seeds in his face. That's probably the fastest and easiest way that I can think of anyway.
I think one thing I'd recommend even over that, if you don't want to, if you're not near a nut anyway, it's best to just get in his face, because he'll. So the way I've at least he'll charge you or swing his head around when you're near him, and on the third time he's gonna do that. That's when he'll charge you.
Right.
So typically the best option, if you can't throw the knight at him, which is obviously going to be the fastest option, is just to get in his face. And deep woods ground pound hitboxes are my favorite, by the way.
Yes, we've seen some struggles with those already in this bingo as well. It just never seems to really work out the way that you want. I'm not entirely sure how Limcube was able to dodge that dino just now, but he's made his way up. Fine, is out of here.
He was just demonstrating my strategy, of course, getting in the dino's face.
Yeah, there you go. Paying off for him a little bit, even though he doesn't need the dino anymore. We're starting to see everything kind of come together here. Definitely going to be seeing some stickers from Limcube in the future. Zinpars is showing off some very cool purple coin grabbing strategies here. Obviously just using those to top off his 175 regional coins goal.
I was curious if you could down throw on a pole. I was wondering if he was going to go for it.
Yeah, maybe just sliding off the wall, but I don't know if you can throw at all when you're holding the pole.
Yeah. I know, well, at least I know that you can't with regular controls, but down throws are an enigma for me.
Yes, I'm definitely a pro convoy myself, so using the Joy-Cons for the down throws just is kind of baffling, but you see Zinpars do some really cool stuff with them.
I'm not sure what just happened there with the Mecha Wiggler. I don't know if you saw it. He shot it and...
Oh yes,
I
just
think,
wonderful hitboxes probably.
I think he may have been shooting too early. I can't tell. It seemed very odd. I don't really feel like he was shooting early. I don't know. I don't understand this boss.
None of us do, I think. It's such a frustrating battle. We've seen some very unfortunate things happen in these tournaments, where especially when the boss crosses over himself, the hitboxes just do not work. You can see a little bit of that here as well with Zinpars.
The way he fires so loosely kind of scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
So just worried he's going to overheat.
I'm not really sure how that mechanic works. Sometimes I'll overheat after like 2 or 3 shots. Sometimes it'll be like 8 or 9.
I believe it's based on how many are actually on screen.
Oh, maybe.
Because I believe, yeah, if you're quite far away and you try and spam shoot, you get overheated very fast. That's why I think I see Chaos do it. He gets very up close, which makes sense as well because the closer you are, obviously, the less time it's going to take to deal the damage.
True, yeah.
But it also obviously negates them being on screen as much.
Right. Now Zinpars entering the day metro portion. Not a whole lot on this board that could be really done in the day metro. I think I see jump rope hero, which might be an option.
I do love some jump. Is he gonna?
He's gonna go for it.
Doing it for the people. I think it's a safe bet at this point that Zin is doing row 5.
Yes.
Because I'm very confident by now he's not doing column 3 as he has not picked up the fish in late. Well, maybe he could go back through the paintings a bit, but I don't think that that's the case on this one.
Probably a safe guess. And like we said before, that 9 story moons, excluding multi-moons, is kind of a daunting goal that doesn't really synergize well with a whole lot of anything.
One thing to mention, Lim does have a lot of tiles on the board, but Zin is a lot closer to Seaside right now.
Yes, which means he's a lot closer to being able to just accomplish his goals. He doesn't have any of the actual game progression to worry about anymore. And if we're looking at this correctly, he's almost got that bottom row finish.
I think he was going to try and go for something really stylish there. I think he wanted to flick onto the billboard and run across it.
Oh yeah, that would have been slick.
Which would have been... I would have clapped.
It'll be interesting to see what else. If you know what, I'm gonna guess that Zinpars is gonna be going for this row 5, potentially column 4 as well, and it'll just be interesting to see what the last one he chooses is. We also did see him actively going for music notes, so maybe something like column 5 is in his sights.
Column 5 for Zin.
Yes, for Zinpars.
Has he picked up any extra moons?
Not by the looks of it, actually.
I mean, I guess he's going to get them in Cascade if he goes back there for column 4.
That's right, he does have to go back.
Assuming he is doing column 4, of course, but it just
seems very likely.
I like that. I like the little swanky checkpoint grab.
Yeah, actively picking up checkpoints, which is a goal there for checkpoints in Metro, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Column 5. Or row 3. If he wants to go back to wood.
Yes. And also visit snow, so probably not going to be going for any of those kinds of ideas. Typically, the rule in bingo is that if you have to go to snow or seaside, you pick one. You don't typically do both.
Unless you fancy a trip to luncheon.
Yeah, you know, we've seen some crazier things, I suppose.
I'm assuming Zin is probably going to be just mopping up with the 90% route here. Looks like it. Though he does have 15, and no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think 90% route is probably what he's doing here. 5 left. Having a bit of trouble with dizzying heights, which is one of my favorite moves in the game.
The climb can be frustrating. There's like a setup for the climb, but if you mess up the setup in any particular form, then the rest of it just ends up becoming a mess. Be interesting to see what Limcube is doing here. Going for maybe not the most traditional any percent route here.
He's doing darker side.
Indeed, yeah.
Oh,
Oof, taking a tumble.
that is one of the more annoying deaths in Lost, because you can't just, because you have to. Well, the fastest way to get that moon is dying after getting it.
That's right, yeah. So you have to come back all the way back in and do it again.
Well, I mean, it depends actually where you want to go, I suppose. But typically, you want to go back to the summit after this moon, so dying is just your best option.
Yeah, that is correct. He's gonna take a stop at the shop. Not a bad idea. Probably gonna pick up the sticker while he's here.
He is still doing dark side. Oh, he bought. I thought he bought the hat for a second there.
Almost bought the souvenir as well.
He's not quite sure what he wants to buy.
Yeah. He's just a bit picky, you know? And that being the Limcube's 5th sticker, I believe. So definitely going, he's completed that one line. Probably going to be making a trip to Seaside. It'll be interesting to see what his final choice is. Could be seeing something like Column 5 as well.
Worth mentioning, he is still on darker side route, which I find very amusing.
Yeah, interesting way of tackling this kingdom. I think he just was mostly doing it for the purple coins.
Well, this is different now, though.
Yes. This is more any percent familiar. All right, and Zinpars did mark off 4 checkpoints in Metro. Did finish up the moons that he needed to complete this kingdom, and he's on his way now to the next one. So his moon total right now is 75. He could potentially get 10 in Seaside and then 10 more in Cascade or something along those lines in order to finish this up. Unless we see some sort of a revisit somewhere. And I don't know. It's kind of interesting that nobody really went for this top left to bottom right idea, because that for me stands out really well, especially if you're already making a Seaside visit. Like doing those things in Lake that are really fast, it's the kind of thing that I would go for. But yeah, we can see here Zinpars collecting some ground pound moons in Seaside. Going to be making his way around. We might see him gather some purple coins as well. He's also getting the note moon here.
He could also pick up the checkpoint. Not sure why.
Perhaps just a quick access point. Zinpars doing a route that's very similar to any percent from just the look of it.
I think one thing that's kind of hard to, I mean, unless you're actively keeping track, it's very hard to remember how many purples you have. I would imagine Zinpars is probably pretty close to the 175 at this point. If not, he's probably going to pick up the remainder of what he needs in Cascade.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably the best way to go about it.
Oh, he's
Probably
counting now.
double checking, yeah, right now.
I'll do some quick math.
quick maths. I typically have a notepad with me when I play bingo so that I can record all these things as I'm leaving. Because it can be a lot to keep track of, and memory does not always help serve very well.
So I believe he's at 2 ground pound moves after this one. Am I miscounting here?
Did he
No,
get under a dangerous
he-
ceiling?
Yes, and he got. Oh, he did get Rumble Room. That is a ground pound move.
Yes.
So that's 3, I believe.
Should be 3. He's probably going to be going for what the waves left behind, and then maybe the back cavern, back
Yeah.
canyon. So that'll complete that goal for him. He's also got the music notes marked off. He made an effort to do the ones in Lake and in Metro for that goal specifically. As well as some extra moons in Seaside along the way just to kind of complete that 95 moons total.
I would imagine he's going to leave now to avoid the trip, since he's 1 moon away from finishing.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
Maybe.
He's also getting more checkpoints. Oh, Captain
Oh,
Toad.
of course, Captain Toad.
Correct.
I feel ashamed to have forgotten the captain. However, this does mean that he's going to have to watch the cutscene.
That is true.
No,
Which is probably not the biggest deal.
it's not, but it is definitely something that could have been avoided. I'm trying to think if there was any. He didn't have to get shortcut, I suppose.
Yeah, or the treasure chest. There were a couple options that he could have eliminated, but it would have meant 1 extra moon in Cascade.
I think it probably would have been better, maybe, just because Cascade, you're not going to have to dump them.
That's right. That is a very good point, actually.
But it's like you say, it doesn't matter that much. It's a minor thing. It's not a big deal. Probably like 10 seconds or so at most.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of things. But we do see...
Them doing the notes move.
Yeah, it looks like he might be going for that as well. So column 5, a very... and yeah, we do see Zinpars making a stop in Cascade. This is perhaps his last place that he needs to be. He's basically just going to be rounding up the final goals that he has here, which is some regional coins, some extra moons, and that'll be it.
He does love his down throws, and I am jealous,
Yeah.
because they would be very useful in a long category.
It's true. Procon does have that down throw ability to play around with, but you have to initiate it with a ground pound first, which, of course, if you do it once or twice is not that big a deal, but I imagine over the course of an entire run, it would add up to some time, for sure.
Lim's saying I'm the scoop clip having a bit of trouble, which my least favorite trick in any percent.
Yeah.
I hate scoop clip.
Getting the drive-by can be a little bit frustrating, especially. And then
It's-
it's just like, I like how in World Peace we've kind of routed around the fact that if you miss it, you can just kind of drive by and move on and just get bench friend instead. Just kind of like a solid backup there, but any percent kind of has no options there. You just have to do both.
I have been told by Neo that even I don't believe him. I think he's just kidding around with me. But I have been told that he said the Gerda Moon by slots was still faster than bench friends.
Oh, okay.
I don't believe him though.
It's probably really close.
I choose to not believe him.
Tim loves bench friends just a little too much.
It's a wholesome moon.
It's very wholesome. And to think that we achieve world peace without such a wholesome moon is kind of upsetting.
But I'm assuming Zin got the bare minimum in Cascade and just ulted.
That's what it looks like.
So he's got 7 now, so that'd be 12 overall.
Yes. So he needs 2 more to complete the 14 moons and cascade goal, but I believe he'll need 11 here total, or no, 10 here total. Is that right? I think that's correct. To complete his 95 moons goal, as well as the regional coins to finish up his 175.
Well, he did just mark 95.
Oh, he just pounded them all out just like that. Yes, he did get that last moon, that 10th one. And he's good to go. That's it.
Is it GG? Oh, here we go. 19. Is he going to go across? I was wondering if he was going to scroll so I could count real quick. 19, 40, 61, 78, 112. Oh god, he's going too fast. 112, 154, 160. No, I think I miscounted. He went too fast for me. I think he's fine.
I think he's good as well. Yeah, well played by Zinpars. Oh, it looks like he's actually just double counting here.
Oh, maybe he's not good. No, he has actually undone his time. He is not good. Okay, I might have not miscounted.
Probably just needs a couple more purples, and then he's good to go.
I think I counted 10 off or so.
There we go. Now he's completed.
My faith in my own mathematical skill has been restored.
He was just moving a little too quick for me. So
I will count again. 28, 70, 87, 170, 121, 147, 165, 175. Yeah, it's good.
Well done by Zinpars there. And he's probably just going to go to the Odyssey, throw his moons in just to double check that he's got his 95.
Yes.
Yeah, and 1 moon is from Lake as well, which
Yes.
will not count his cascade total. So
While it says he has 94 in the Odyssey, the moon I assume he's going there just to verify it, but he has to dump it because before post game, moons have to be dumped in their respective kingdoms.
right,
So,
and that counts for the Hintarts as well. The Hintarts count as the kingdom that the Hintart is in, not the kingdom that the moon is in. Yeah, and you see him putting that one in there now. And we're basically just going to see Limcube finish up here. He's going to be going to Seaside for his final goal. He just needs 1 music note, 1 Captain Toad, and 5 ground pound moons, as well as probably, I think, 2 more moons on top of that just to finish up his 95, and then he'll be done as well. In all honesty, very solid routing from both of these guys. I think that Limcube might have benefited from potentially taking that other diagonal in the meantime, but yeah, otherwise very solid routing for both of them actually. And joining us in the call right now, we actually have the winner of this match, Zinpars, with us. Zinpars, how are you feeling?
Hello. I'm relieved.
Relieved.
Like for most of the run, I wasn't sure if I was debating getting world peace, but then I was like, probably not, and I wasn't sure if it's faster, and I basically just decided on a route that I felt would be better. So I was hoping that this was really better.
Yeah, you did avoid that one, and that might have kind of mixed in well with a couple of other things, but there also weren't very many like big moon goals in sand that didn't fit in well. I guess there's the 32 moons in sand, but it also kind of doesn't really mix with anything else. So
it did make me quite happy early on to say that there was potential for a Lake Cascade revisit, and that came through. I was happy.
Yeah.
using the Hintart knowledge to your advantage there.
It actually took me until the end of Cascade to decide on a route, so I skipped the purples and some potential moons there to leave that for later when I will come back.
Right, that is fair. Yeah, and it worked out for you for sure. Not very many other options. Like I think a seaside visit was kind of inevitable here, unless you wanted to make things really difficult for yourself.
Yeah, I think there was one route that finished in Metro, but it had World Peace Sand and other long things.
Yeah, that's right.
One
Probably
thing
not the most optimal.
that could have been better would be row 2 instead of row 5. But since I clipped back in when I did the Sphinx clip, I decided to not go for that anyway. So
Right.
yeah.
And purchasing 8 full costume sets is kind of a tricky one as well. Definitely good if you have lots of regional coins, which I suppose in this situation you did. You were kind of going out of your way for those anyway with the stickers. But you also have to kind of route in coins as well. It can be kind of tricky to manage all of that. So
Yeah, I was going to the shops anyway, so that would have been an advantage. Like, I could also purchase the costume while I'm there, but then again, I need more purples for the costumes and stickers.
that's right.
And obviously gold coins, and since I'm not on 1.2, I don't have access to easy coins. Or
Yeah,
right.
it would have been forbidden anyway in our match, because none of us is on 1.2.
That is correct. And lots of coins in places like Sand, for example, which maybe could have synergized well with World Peace, because the inverted pyramid, as well as some other areas in Sand, they have lots of hidden coins there. But overall, I think that your execution of this route did prove to be sufficient enough, and it's going to be propelling you into the next round. So very well done there.
Thank you.
And we do see.
I think I've had a few mistakes, like 1 or 2 deaths and a few bonks, but it was pretty solid.
Yeah, and I think maybe a couple of deaths and lost happened as well.
Yes, I think it was only 1, but
Yeah, that's right. Just bonking from the meme tree there.
oh yeah, that one as well. So it was 2.
But yeah, I mean, in a run, obviously, in a particular run setting like that, it's a little bit scary, but in bingo, it's a little bit less so. And we have Limcube just finishing up here, actually, just grabbing that last ground pound moon. And he has finished up his board with a 58-20, and we have him in the call now. Limcube, how was that? How did you feel about that?
Sub hour as usual, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah, I felt decent. My board was okay. I just forgot to swap out World Peace basically with. I mean, I didn't realize that I could easily swap out World Peace and the 3 Jaxi, which wasn't too bad, but World Peace especially with some regional coins, because I got a ton of them anyways because of stickers. I mean, not a ton, but I got some of them. I wasn't like, that's one of the synergies I didn't know of yet. I was proud of some of the plays I tried to make, like the stuff at Lake where I grabbed the checkpoint pre-Rango, but then I realized that I actually needed an additional that I needed node moons, so it wasn't as good. But I did some right thinking. My route wasn't optimal. I played pretty badly, especially later on. But it wasn't an absolute shame. I think it's fine.
I think you played rather solidly, and it was definitely hard to tell who was going to come out on top. I was just mentioning that a seaside exit was probably the idea here. There's not very many other routes that could have ended earlier, except for ones that were a little bit maybe messy to execute. So I think you guys had the right idea there. I was mentioning maybe like a top, if you were going to do World Peace and Sand anyway, that like top left to bottom right was kind of on the table for a good idea, since you're going to be getting some quick things in Lake anyways. You can do some checkpoints. You can get those.
Damn, yeah, that's the first one. Lul. Yeah.
That was kind of what popped out at me at the beginning, but you both kind of had kind of a lengthier cascade idea there, and Zinpars actually routing it with the hint art moon as well. So there were definitely a lot of options here, and I think it just kind of came down to execution on bingo knowledge.
Yeah, definitely agree. Zinpars definitely being on top there, but I'm happy that I didn't play awful, and it was still fun. I need to do more of these again.
Yeah,
bingo.
You didn't catch it earlier, but I said I was pretty scared because I didn't know how far you actually were, because we both went pretty different about our routes. You first revisited, and I revisited at the end.
Yeah, exactly. Like, as soon as you got these goals quickly, and I realized that you actually had been doing regionals all along, and I realized the synergy over World Peace. But I did think, so I think if I played like super flawlessly, that these routes could have been like tied. I guess your route was a little bit better, but if I had better execution, this could have been even closer. But definitely was super fun.
And a
Yeah,
very exciting match to watch too. That's for
Nice.
sure. Well, I think we are going to call it an intermission. We'll be back with some more bingo action in about 45 minutes here. We have myself versus Little Aggie coming up
Really?
later on. I think that's correct. But yeah, in the meantime, thank you, Zinpars and Limcube, for the race. It was very entertaining to watch. Congratulations to Zinpars for moving on to the next round.
GG Zinpars,
Thank
win
you.
all, please, because I predicted you to win, so you gotta win now.
Gotta go all the way now. All right, and thank you, Tiffany, for joining me on commentary. It was a lot of fun.
As always, of course.
As always. And we will see you in about 45 minutes.
See you, GG's.
Bye-bye.